Okay.
Awesome. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us. And we are going to have a special treat tonight. My good friend Moira is going to share her story with us. So, how this all started was in the Joyful M Circle, which is a private ladies Facebook community. We brainstorm about bringing in speakers, and we've had amazing speakers in the past few months. And we thought, well, maybe we should just like share our own stories, right? Moira's like, I got a pretty
Mhm.
big story to share. I'm like, I know you do. So, how about you share it? So, that's how we ended up with where we are today. So, I'd love to just let Moira take it away and share with us, what dancing through life means with you and how you put you first. I think
Yeah.
many of us deal with this as a problem in life.
Yeah, thanks, Judy. Um yeah, I agree with you. We've had some great speakers and we still have some great speakers that are going to be coming up, but we both have gone through, our things in life and found things, and dance is something that I found I wasn't a dancer growing up. Um I I still chuckle sometimes to think that I'm dancing because I didn't really find myself like a very graceful kind of person. But during the pandemic, um, I was kind of bored, as perhaps many of us were. And also a girlfriend of mine who I knew through the hockey world. We have four children, three of them boys, all played hockey. And I knew this gal, Jen, and I noticed on Facebook she was dancing and like sparkly dresses and competitions and ballroom. I'm like, so I called her too and I said, can we go out to dinner? Can I talk to you about what you're doing? And so I did, and it sounded super cool and exciting. And she said, it's kind of like life coaching on steroids. And I was like, I think that's kind of weird. I don't really, but you know, but she said you should just try. Just go take a lesson. Just there was a Fred Astaire studio in the town next to mine, and so that's what I did. Went in, I contacted them, and said, signed up for a free, or not a free, but an introductory lesson. Now, my background is I went to school for nursing, but before then, I played classical piano since I was about 5. And so I love like put on classical music, waltz, Beethoven, Bach, you know, Debussy. I love it. And so when I went in and I started dancing, and I always said that if I had a good lead, I could dance. I had a good friend in high school, um, and we just would dance at the school dances, and he was a good lead, and so we had fun. And so I was like, if I have a good lead, I think I can dance. Well, if you go to a dance studio, these professionals, own these places. I mean, they're from Poland, Moldova, Ukraine. These people have been dancing many of them, since they were 5 or 6 years old. So they're pretty good leads. And it was funny. I started taking some lessons. I kind of got hooked, and they made me feel good. And oh, this is fun. And again, there wasn't a whole lot to do during the pandemic, so I'm like, I'll try this out. But the whole life coaching thing, I thought I still think that's kind of silly. But by the fifth or sixth lesson, I texted my friend Jen. I said, I think I'm starting to understand what you mean, because it was more than dance for me. And so there's so many things that I've learned, but I've kind of brought it down to 4 categories that I want to talk about tonight. And, this isn't about, it isn't about me and look at me, I'm all this beautiful, ballroom dancer. It's really about what I discovered about myself as I started to dance. And as we talk about, you know, how we are in our time of life in this joyful M circle, and with the women that we talk with, like where we're getting to as we're transitioning to different times, I think that a lot of these things, it doesn't have to be dance. Maybe it's something else that you find, finding something that kind of connects you back to yourself. And so maybe it's not dance, maybe it is. But maybe I have a girlfriend who does amazing ceramics these days. Her boys are gone. She started doing ceramics. She creates these unbelievable things. Could be strength training, it could be travel, could be whatever. But um, it's been a way, again, I've learned a lot. So let me continue on. So the first one is, and Judy kind of alluded to it, is just saying yes to me. And so I think about that again with women, like, are you saying yes to you? I mean, I raised four kids. I started a business 25 years ago, built that. I think my background in nursing, like I'm always saying yes to everybody else, always helping people. And when, I started to do dance and it was my thing, I was saying yes to myself to be like, okay, this is something that's important to me. It was a stretch for me financially. It's a hobby that's um, not inexpensive. um, but but it also was mine. Many people will say, well, does your husband dance? And he doesn't. He doesn't have any interest in it. He'll come and watch if I do a competition or a showcase, he'll come to support me that way. But it became my thing. So it was me saying, as my kids, now my kids are all young adults. Three of the four children live outside of the home. So I don't have all those little ones running underneath my feet and have really, they don't need me so much anymore. And so it was a way for me to say yes and realize that it was okay to invest in me. Because I did say once to one of my instructors, I'm like, well, this is kind of a lot of money. But he said, this is an investment in you. This is your hobby. This is you're investing in you. And you are happy here, so it's an investment in you finding joy and, being happy. And with that, I always say to women, like, you shouldn't have to give yourself permission to say yes to you. Again, for so many years, I said yes to everybody else. And this was a chance that, and I also started to, I'm gonna, I think, go into that next one, but I started to feel alive again. Again, giving to somebody else. Um, Judy, I know, knows a lot of my story, but I went through a very long time of struggle. Our daughter struggled with 9 years with a mental health disorder that nearly took her life. During my dance journey, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and I was able to find joy even in the diagnosis of breast cancer. So it has given me that permission to say yes to me, but also to start to feel alive again and connect with myself. So that's one of the things. Um, Number two is following a lead. Again, I'm not sure what you do in your life or business, Corrine, but I know that Judy and I were leaders and entrepreneurs, and we lead, right? Or we lead our families, or we lead our businesses, or things like that. I learned in dance that I had to because we're females, I had to let them lead. It's a big thing. I couldn't be the one that it's like, okay, and even all of my instructors would say, you're a leader out there. In here, I'm the one that leads. So it's a matter of surrendering your control, um, and learning that I had to trust them. I've learned to lead, I've learned to trust myself in doing all the things. But in dance, I've had to learn to trust them. And sometimes, as they say, I'm behind them. Sometimes I'm a little bit late in my steps, and that's what they prefer. Because if I go ahead of them, then I'm leading. They need to go ahead of me so that I can. And again, it was a matter of giving up that control, which I don't know if you could relate to that, but that's like a hard thing to do when you're used to being in control and you're the one that are making the decisions and you're the one that's leading. Um, and
Do
I'm a
you find,
strong, good.
I just want to interrupt you there for a sec, Moira. Do you find that women in general have problems with trusting others? Like giving up that trust because we're like the nurturers and we got to do everything and manage it all. And so then to learn to trust a partner, a teacher, a mentor, and to follow their lead, but to not be the one that's leading, that it's a bit of a
I think
change,
it's,
isn't it?
I think it's very different. I think it's very difficult because again, if we're mothers, if we again, men can be, da can be great dads and all that, but women tend to be those nurturers and I'll take care of it and I get this done. And I mean, that's who I was. And I think a lot of women are like, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to do this. But when you have to trust somebody else to say, and that it's going to be okay if they do that, it's, yeah. But I also learned that um, it, when you follow, when you give somebody else, let somebody else lead, it doesn't mean that you're weak. Even with dance, like they're the leader, but I still have to show up very confidently in my position, in my frame and all that. They're leading me, but I'm still back here, confident, strong, in my position, even though they're leading. So it doesn't mean that we're weak when we let somebody else take control or take the lead. Um, and yeah, I feel like there's so many women that have been carrying a mental load for so long, and especially once we get to this, as we're talking about with menopause and 40s and 50s and 60s, it's been going on for a while. Um, One of the things that I've had different partners throughout my dance career. So it's been 5.5 years because I started in the summer of 2020. So one of my instructors, Norbert, he used to always say this. He's like, it doesn't matter. Because I would start to overthink things. Again, I don't know if any of you gals get into that, but overthinking things and like trying to figure it out and overthinking. And he would just be, it doesn't matter. Just follow my lead and dance. And he just kept saying that it doesn't matter. And it sounds kind of like just a silly, but it has become even something that I use now when I'm talking with other women and coaching them and they get we're overthinking and what about this and what about that? It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Let's be here present now, today, take these small steps, learn one step, whatever. But sometimes we overthink things and just that phrase that he gave me, like, it doesn't matter, like really helped me with that. So that's number two. So number three is a little bit about that too, but it's that trust piece and being held. Now, granted, we're touching each other and all that, but it's not about the physical touch. But really what I learned about a great dance instructor is that they're holding space for you to be the best that you can be. They pour their belief in you. They tell you how great you are. And yes, some of it is so that you'll come back for the next lesson and the next lesson and pay for the next one. But a lot of it is, again, when you have a great partnership, that's what I've learned because I've changed partners throughout the years. When you have a great partnership, that's what a great partner does. They hold that space for you so that you can relax. Again, something else that Norbert you would always say is like, I got you. I got you. It's like, again, it's that trust piece. Like, I've got you. I've got you. Like, I went to him one time and I said, this song just really speaks to me. I love it. Can we create a whole like solo number to it? And it was so difficult to learn. And he always would say that, I got you. I got you. Again, it's that idea of feeling safe. So I believe that when we find somebody or find a situation that we feel safe in, then we can relax, we can enjoy ourselves. Um, and again, we feel that, um, again, we're safe in that environment. And I've, I've said that about all of my instructors. They just hold this space for you, for me, to be the best that I can be. I'm never going to be them. They're the professional. They've been dancing, like I said, since 5 or 6 or 7 or whatever, taking all this training. But they're just like, yeah, but come on, you're here, you showed up. I'm going to help you be the best dancer that you can. And that creating that safety so that I can really become the best dancer. Um, I and when I would drive away from that first studio that I would take lessons at, I just felt like I could take on the world. Like I felt so confident in myself. And not that it all of a sudden I was like this awesome, like Dancing with the Stars dancer, but I felt good. And it was so much about that leader that I started to trust that again wasn't this leader that like was overpowering me and dictator or anything like that. It was just that he was helping me feel so good about myself so that I could really show up and be present for the
Mm.
dance.
I love that,
Um,
Morgan. So
yeah,
great.
yeah. And
How
that
did
was
you?
kind of when I started to like again tell my friend, I said, I think I'm getting this. Again, it's not just about the dance, but it's then what I'm taking into my life after the dance, how I'm then showing up in my own life or maybe as a coach. I want to, that's because I even thought that one day, I'm like, this is what I want to be for my clients or for my kids. Like, I want to be holding space for them to be the best that they can be. And I want to make sure, make them believe in themselves that they can do whatever they want to do. And I started to feel that way after like a 45-minute lesson with Dimitri. And it was like, wow, this is kind of because it became this metaphor for my life, like a place that I went to dance, but then I brought it out.
That is so cool. I love that. I think that's a beautiful metaphor. And you've talked about trusting, or or the other piece I was going to ask you about was, dance is physically demanding too. So how has nutrition helped you show up with energy and confidence?
Yeah, many people say, "Oh, it's great exercise." And there's no doubt that it's exercise, but it's also sometimes not. I do waltz and foxtrot and so it's not like going to the gym, right, and doing a cardio workout. But it is movement, it's stretching, it's is a lot of strength with your legs and you bend your knees a lot more than I ever thought that you did. Um, so so I've taken lessons, but then I've also done competitions. And so I've just learned that these, nutrition's so important. I mean, it's about like keeping my brain sharp but also, again, keeping my energy up, keeping myself hydrated. And especially when I go to a competition where I am getting dressed up in all the sparkly dresses and I'm competing and you're going out and, things like that, making sure that I have those foundational things. Again, it's not the same as I used to run marathons and long distance. It's not the same type of thing, but it is but it is a foundation thing. And there's certain things that I know that help me when I go to dance, be it MindWorks. I've started taking MindWorks really regularly. That's a product that we have that, helps with focus, concentration, and memory. And if I'm trying to remember all those steps and all those things, it helps me stay focused there, helps me stay present. I mean, there's even an essential oil that I like that's called parasympathetic that as I just take a few deep breaths of it before I go to a lesson, it helps me get out of my head and like get in more into my parasympathetic mode. So it just really relaxes me. So just like again, when I go to strength train or when I go for a walk or something like that, I have certain products and nutrition and that's really important to keep me, like you said, energized there. It's the same thing with dance. It's important to have that. A friend of mine came up to me at the last competition and she goes, I think my blood sugar's low. I'm just dehydrated. Like, can you tell me what you're doing? Because I've got to keep those things strong too. So,
That's awesome. And I love that you mentioned, can you just say a little bit about that herb or that essential oil? Did you say parasympathetic? Synthetic?
yeah, that's the name of it. It's a company called Vibrant Blue Oils. And I found them listening to a podcast from, I think, a nurse practitioner that I follow, um, who's in the women's health space, menopause space, and stuff like that. And I don't know, I like the sounds of their oils. They're, science-based. It's a women-owned country company, small batches, and it's a blend. I don't remember all the names of them, and I can put that in our group. But it's a
Yeah.
blend of oils, but essential oils, it's when you smell things, it's just a quick way to get your body to um, react, for lack of a better word I can't think of,
Mhm.
or, adapt or whatever. But by smelling this, I notice it. Like because I'm working during the day and I'm on the phone and we're doing all these things, and then I gotta go down the street and take a dance lesson at 4 o'clock. And sometimes I'm really keyed up. And sometimes I'll take stress relief complex. But I've noticed that this parasympathetic and I love essential oils. I just love the way it smells. So I just put some in my hands. And before I go out the door, I just take 5 deep breaths. And by the time I drive up the street, I'm just I'm more chill. And I can feel the impact, the effect of it. So
Well, that's awesome. And so the ashwagandha is a big piece of stress relief complex. And I
mhm,
mean, a lot of people are taking that to calm the nervous system. So you're doing both and you're finding benefit from both,
mhm,
especially before
mhm.
like a competition, right? More, I'm sure that you probably would like some stress relief complex or B vitamins then, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Stress relief I always take to a competition. Um, and I've recently found these oils. So I had kind of my own little blend of oils before, but now I have this one. So I'm sure when I compete in June, then I'll take that. But I always take my friends laugh at, I don't know, chuckle at me, whatever. But when I take, we love our protein peanut butter balls. And so I always bring a container of those to competition. I put it on the table and I go, here you go. Because sometimes we don't like, I don't like to, as much as I need the good nutrition, like I'll probably do like a protein shake in the morning, but I don't eat a big breakfast because I if then you go out to dance, it's just like I don't want to feel heavy. But
Hmm.
having those little snacks here and there, like nuts or seeds or things like that, or like those protein balls, can be a good just grab and go. And people have started to expect that I'm going to bring those with, or the sparkling protein that we have. I took it, that was new, and so I took that to my last competition. So again, hydrating, but getting some protein, that has been um, really helpful.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that. So, you know, you talked about this a little bit, but how would you say that dancing's changed the way that you coach or support other women? Like you talked about, you know, teaching people how to bring out the best in themselves and to trust themselves and invest in themselves. Is there anything else you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I'll go to my fourth point, of just the confidence and being present and finding joy. Um, I know that it's helped me be more confident just in the way that I feel and the way that ballroom dancers have the best posture of, and so it's helped me have better posture. And so feel more confident going into a room. Now I'm more confident when I decide to go out to a Latin night or go out to a club with friends. I have that confidence. Um, and just that, again, trying to get over that overthinking, just being present and finding joy. So, really, what I do, how I bring that to the women that I coach is that I say, you're never too old to start something new, be it that it's your health, working on your health or finding something that um, brings you joy or makes you happy. Like, I really, because this was something that I didn't expect at all. I figured I'd take a few dance lessons. I didn't expect that it would really impact my life and the way that I feel about myself. And again, that idea that this is something that it really showed me the impact that dance has had when my friend and partner Norbert, I've been with him for about a little over 3 years, and he went back to Poland to visit his folks for Christmas. And because of some visa issues, and it's a very long story and complicated, he's not able to be back. And we thought it was going to be another week, and then all of a sudden it was like they told him, well, you can try again in 6 months. So it was this finality of like, I had to find a new dance partner or quit dancing. And during that time, while we were waiting, I wasn't dancing. And it was starting to, I like wasn't happy, you know? I was kind of crabby and I was like, what is going on with me? It was the beginning of the year, like we're all supposed to be like gearing up for the new, and I was not feeling it. And I was talking to a girlfriend. She goes, you have to go and dance. You got to get back on the, I mean, that dance has become at least twice a day, twice a week lessons, and then probably 2 group classes. And like that was already all of a sudden taken out. Like imagine like, you break your foot and then you can't go work out, or you can't ride horses, which you love to do. Like all of a sudden, this thing that brought me so much joy was taken from my life because Norbert wasn't here. So, um, so I found a new partner and now we're getting used to each other and all of that. Um, but that's what I do. I feel like I bring that to the women that I speak with, that it's never too late to start something new. It's never too late to start paying attention to you. Um, it's I mean, I'm in my 60s. I have many friends that are around this age, and it gets to this is kind of the time that women go through divorce. I met with a gal today for coffee, a good friend of mine who's been a friend and a client for years, and her husband passed last year from Parkinson's. So I'm finding that women are finding themselves divorced or widowed, or their kids have left their home, and they're left like, what about me now? And so that's what I say to them. Like, you're never too old. It's never too late to start something new. And it's really a way with dance, I've learned that it's a way to connect with your feminine energy. I don't know if
Mhm.
you can relate to any of this, but I work so much from like right here, getting it all done, getting it all done, getting it. And that's from our head, that's the masculine energy. And dance is a way to get yourself out of that and connect with your heart. I mean, there's been times that like I started to cry in a lesson because all of a sudden, like the emotion took over. That's not really like me. I keep it all together, but dance and music and movement really can heal us. And I feel like the reason why I show up, why I say yes to myself, why I spend the money is because it's really a form of therapy and it's a form of healing for all of these things that I've gone through. It's a place that, yes, I show up and I can learn a new dance, but it's become more for me, really that healing of those past wounds that I have and those, and as during that time that our daughter was really struggling and um, I learned about journaling and um, things were starting to get better. And I found myself that I was waiting for things to really get better. I was waiting for all the joy to come back and everything to be happy. And I realized that it was really up to me. I needed to go and find the things that brought me joy or discover some new things that might. I mean, it was a matter of me needing to try new things. And I think, again, many women that I talk to, they hold themselves, oh, I could never do, even with dance, oh, I could never do that. That's something that I want to do. But I don't know, maybe I'll do it later. Like, let's do it now, right? And that's what I found is that, and Mel Robbins, I don't know if you read or listen to Mel Robbins, but I love her. One of the things that she always says is like, nobody's coming. Nobody's coming to get you out of bed. Nobody's coming to drag you to the dance studio. Nobody's coming to say, let's go for a walk. I mean, nobody's coming. It's up to us. And I really take that for myself, but I also, talk to other women about that. Nobody's coming. It's not easy. But in order to go find the joy is not going to come back until you go look for it. And that's really, again, what really this dance has taught me. Like this is something that really feeds my soul, helps me be happy, and um and it's what I intentionally go and do a few times a week because I've found that. But it was again, I had to get out there. I had to get out, I had to get out of my house. I had to go try new things. And that's when the joy started to come and the happiness started to come back. So, like I said,
Nice.
maybe it's not dance, maybe it's painting, maybe it's ceramics, maybe it's starting a new business or working at the coffee shop down the street or traveling. You know, but it matters. What the choices that we make every day matters. And um and that's what I talk to people about all the time. We all have choices. So I say just choose to go and say yes yourself, choose to go and live, find something new, make it, take a risk, do something new because you never know what might be on the other side of that choice that you make.
Mm, I love that, Maura. Thank you so much. If every woman listening tonight walked away with just one message from your dance journey, what would you want it to be?
I you know I just say that to do that, well, to do it and that you're worth it. Again, I talk to so many, and I say this because again, I've walked the walk. I've walked through it. Like so many women, they all have a story, and we all have stories and reasons, and oh, we're not good enough, and we're not this, and we're not this. And it's like, you know what? You are. I mean, we're all worthy of having a happy, joyful life. And it's not, and I'm not saying that every 100% of the time it's going to be that way, but we just, you deserve it. You deserve some happiness and joy. And something that I learned many years ago in a weekend seminar is that we need to be the leaders of our own life. We can be married, friends, spouse, wife, but really we can be a martyr, a victim, or a villain. There's lots of ways that we show up, or we can be the leader of our own life. And that's what I hope that women can hear from this is that just do it. Even if you're a little unsure, just like my friend said to me, just take a class and it might change your life. And that's the thing, you just never know. And so I hope that women can hear that to say, say yes to yourself, try it, and if you're a little afraid, call a friend and say, "Hey, would you come to this dance class with me? Would you go to this on this walk with me?" Like grab somebody else for that support and
Mhm.
and just and go do it because really it's about choosing to live and that there's a lot of joy in when we make that choice to live for today.
Exactly. And choosing to live for themselves. We get so caught up in this nurturing role, as I was mentioning before, as women. And I think we tend to put our health on the back burner a lot of times. And then
Hmm.
it catches up. So, those daily choices do really add up to the bigger picture. And finding your daily joy is such a huge piece of our wellness because that's our mindset. And I really
Hmm.
believe that mindset is about 90% of your health
Hmm. Hmm.
because we all know the stories that we tell us, and we can make a mountain out of a molehill is what my dad used to say. Or you can just, go, wait a minute. Okay, let's just like look at this. This is not that big of a thing. I can let this go. I'm choosing me. I'm choosing things that make me feel great because I know when I'm feeling good, I'm better for everybody around me.
Hmm.
And, just making that conscious decision. And like you say, grab a friend to go with you if you want to start something new, because stepping out of the comfort zone is scary for
Hmm.
sure.
Oh
And,
yeah.
taking a dance class for a lot of us women, we would probably go, that negative stories going around like, I suck at dance. I'm not good enough. I'm going to embarrass myself. Who's going to want to watch me? Like all these things. I remember when I signed up for a choir class and I was like, okay,
Mm.
I'm not that good at singing. And then it was like, well, actually, we're going to compete. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? I didn't sign up for that. All I wanted to do was just go sing with some girls. But we just kept growing and getting better and better. And so then we started doing performances.
Mm.
I was scared. But, I was so grateful because finding your voice is a very big piece of things as well. It's like finding yourself on the dance floor is finding your movement, your groove in life, really.
Hmm.
And I mean, every step you take is like in a refined movement with your partner. And,
Hmm.
it's like a calculated movement almost, right? And it's the same thing with singing, finding your voice and speaking from your heart is such a huge piece of our
Hmm.
fight and our confidence. It's such a
Right.
confidence booster. And when we have confidence, we have posture.
Hmm.
And then we stand up for ourselves and, we affirm our worth. And I really feel like that's a big piece of being women, right? Like
Hmm.
we are
Yeah.
strong and taking that initiative. So yeah, thank you for sharing, Moira.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
did
Because there's so much. Yeah, there's more and more things keep popping in my head, so much more to share, too, and we'll do that another time. But even with my daughter had an eating disorder. I had an eating disorder in college, and I just, part of dance work is partner work, but part of it is mirror work. Come on, let's come into the mirror and let's stand here. Okay, and like go like this and like touch yourself and then do this. I mean, I thought I was over my body image issues. And then like in front of the mirror you go and you're like, he's like, look at yourself. Don't look down. You have to look at yourself.
mm,
It's like that's scary stuff. I mean, it's vulnerable. And
Yeah.
even sometimes when Norbert say, you have to look at me, like look at me. Now, sometimes partner work, you're not looking at them, and that's part of it. But a lot of times, like with rhythm work, you're looking at them. And he's like, look at me. And it's like I swear he could see into my soul. And those are the times that I cried in lessons. I'm like, I can't do that because you're vulnerable. So, um, um,
Well,
and just one
sometimes we're
last.
scared of what we see.
Right, right. Well, Louise Hay, if you follow Louise Hay, she's a spiritual
Yeah.
gal. I think she's passed, but she has a practice that she talks about mirror work, like the end of your day, looking at yourself and saying, just like the Stuart Smiley, stuff from Saturday Night Live years ago. But it's that same thing as like looking at yourself and saying, "Hey, you did a good job today. It was great. You're awesome." It's like mirror work that's that positive reinforcement, but it's vulnerable. And
It's very true. And even just, as you pass the mirror about your day, going in the washroom or through your bedroom or whatever, it's like pause and look at yourself like right in the mirror, not just like, oh, touching up your hair, just like full on eye contact with the mirror and go, I love you. I really love you. Because how often do we tell ourselves we love ourselves? It's just not very often. And it sounds super silly when you first do it. I remember the
mhm.
first couple times, I was like, this is totally weird, especially if somebody in the house hears you.
Right, right, right.
But then it was like, wait a minute, I actually feel pretty good when I do that.
Yeah. But again, I think as women, we beat ourselves up, and like you said, we tell ourselves those stories of how we're not good enough and we're not adequate and we're not pretty and we have this role and we have this and that and oh, I don't want them to, you know, it's it's um it's what we do all the time as women. So um it's just we have to stop doing that.
Yeah,
So
we have to
yeah,
tell a new story.
tell a new story, create a new story. Um yeah, I really appreciate you listening. I hope that this was beneficial. Corinne, do you have any
Oh, it was very
questions,
interesting.
comments, or anything?
No, no, it's very good.
Yeah,
I like listening at people's stories. It's interesting.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
No,
Well, I
pretty
think,
amazing.
yeah, I think when we share our stories, we feel like we're not so alone,
Hmm.
and maybe we have again, um, we'll get that confidence. I mean, I used to tell people too in my kind of in some of the speaking that I've done is that when I was starting to be the leader of my own life, I mean, I was raised by this stoic, strong English woman. Like we just didn't ask for help. And it just and I took it to be like if I needed help, then I was weak and all that. So I just decided, as I was learning to ask for help, I started to say, well, sometimes we just have to ask for some support, right? And that sounded better to me. And so support can be just like, you know what, I'm having a bad day. Like, I'm going to go take a bath. And so don't open the door unless somebody's bleeding and, whatever. Or
That
just
sounds fun.
calling your friend for some support, saying, hey, would you go for a walk with me? Or there's a new movie, or can we meet at the coffee shop? Like, we can support each other in that. Yeah, we're asking for help, but we're supporting, each other. And sometimes we need that. We just need a little extra support from, a friend.
Hmm.
And it can be, or we just need a little extra support from yourself. Like I watched a movie by myself on Saturday night and I cried and it was great. If you haven't seen that, um, remarkably, I don't know if it's out in you guys are in Canada, right? So, but it's on Netflix. Remarkably Bright Creatures. It's a book, but now
Oh,
it's a movie.
yes. I just saw it on Netflix last night. I didn't watch it, but I saw the list and I said to my husband,
Oh,
"Doc, my friend Moira told me about this movie. I gotta watch it."
you got to watch it. It's
Miraculously, what's it called?
Remarkably Bright Creatures. It's a pretty, popular book, and I know about it, but I didn't read it. And I mean, and if you read it, then you know how it ends. And that's
Oh,
part of the
no, I didn't read
tearjerker
it.
is when you get to that point and you're like, ah! It was so good. It was such a good movie. And Sally Field is the is one of the
Actor in there?
leads.
Oh gosh, I haven't seen
Oh,
her in a while.
I know. We
And
hadn't seen her in a while.
the bottom line with all of this is that, just giving yourself permission to show emotion, giving
Right.
yourself permission to ask for support, giving yourself permission to try something new, giving yourself permission to, invest in yourself, invest in
Hmm.
you. And,
Mhm.
we do that with our nutrition and, taking vitamins and exercise. I mean, all that's investing in ourselves, of course, every day. But what about the joy things? What about the
Hmm.
fun things? And I think as women, we're so quick to go, oh, that's too expensive. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to, whether you can afford it or you can't afford it, it doesn't matter. It's a story that you tell yourself. But really what you're saying is, I'm not worth it. That's what
Right.
you're telling
Mhm.
yourself.
Yeah.
So I really think that that's an important note that you made, Maura, is that, invest in yourself, invest in your wellness, and find that daily joy because, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, that's really the biggest piece. We've got to have this healthy mindset.
Right.
And in order to
And
support
two,
those
and
around us.
again, it's sad, but I heard it today. My girlfriend said, I said, "How are you doing with all of this?" And she goes, "It's not easy." She goes, "We weren't done yet. We weren't done with our life yet." Another girl in dance, um, last year. Yeah, it's been about a year. Her husband was going to retire in a couple of years. She was still working, but she was doing a lot more traveling, and she wanted her husband to come with. And he's like, I'm retiring in a couple of years." Again, we've seen the movie, right? She came home and she found him in the kitchen, and he was gone.
Hmm.
And so their time together. I mean, it's again, I hear those stories more and more. Again, that we're not done. I'm not done. It's like we are not promised tomorrow. So let's just go find something today to bring us joy, to have fun. Like we are not promised tomorrow. And if my dad showed me anything when he passed so quickly, even though he was 93 years old, but once he decided that he'd had enough, in 2 weeks he was gone. And I was like, we aren't promised. Like life can be gone like that. So we've got to go and live today and enjoy today.
Yeah,
Mhm. So
that's
true.
it's a
Yeah.
great way to end the talk. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Maura. Thank you,
Yeah.
Corinne.
Thanks for
It was
coming and
very
showing up. Yeah.
interesting. Very nice
Yeah.
to meet you. Thank you for
Nice to
your
meet you
story.
too. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you
Yeah.
for
You're
your
welcome.
vulnerability, Maura, to share. That was
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And now that's recorded, I could share it with somebody else, even my daughter probably.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll get it all
All right. Thank you.
fixed up and put it in the group. But yeah, thanks, ladies, for coming. Let me close
All
off
right.
the
I made